I would like to welcome you back to the 10 podcast where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. We provide strategies, information, and practical tools to help parents, carers, and educators to grow their children to become confident and resilient.
Welcome to the 10 Podcast, where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. This podcast is dedicated to providing parents and educators with valuable tips, strategies, and insights to support children and young with or without special educational needs. Your host is Justine Foster, a qualified special educational needs teacher and a certified children's coach. Join us as we explore ways to install confidence and self-esteem in children from a young age.
Today we're focusing on the importance of teaching our children to make decisions, not just to follow directions. This is about preparing them to become independent thinkers, choice makers, and resilient individuals who are capable of handling their mistakes. I know a lot of parents and educators may not agree with me because they think this is promoting children to be disrespectful or disobedient. But I would like to say it is important for children to be able to grasp the skills of making decisions, grasp the skills of being capable to think for themselves from an early age, because this will help them to become more confident in themselves and to grow to become confident adults. The problem is many of us want our children to listen and obey, overly obedient to us. And whilst discipline is important, we don't want our children to become overly obedient where they never ask questions or make their own choices or make their own decisions. When a child is always told to do as they're told, without space to think for themselves, they may grow up without confidence in their own decision-making skills. This affects their ability to handle challenges later on in life. For example, imagine a child who always follow instructions perfectly. At school, they get all their work correctly. They're always on task. But what happens when they encounter a problem that requires creative thinking or a choice between two different approaches? If they've never been allowed to make decisions, if they've never been taught to practice making decision skills, they might freeze. They might lack the confidence to try something new. And this is what we need to avoid happening to our children. We need to ensure we give them the opportunity to practice making decisions. What do they want to wear? What game they want to play? Where are we going for the weekend? Just simple things like this. When children make decisions, they gain the confidence that their thoughts and ideas matters. They also learn that it's okay to try something new, even if it doesn't always work out. Think of decision making like learning to ride a bike. At first, children might be wobbly or fall off, but every time they try, they get better until they ride confidently on their own. The same applies to the decision making. With practice, they become more confident and capable. Whilst you're helping children to gain decision-making skills and choice-making skills, these are perfect examples to teach them that, mistakes aren't failures, they are learning experiences. If they make a decision and it doesn't work out, that's okay. It's an opportunity to reflect, understand what went wrong, and try a different approach next time. For example, let's say a child decide they want to try a different method of solving a math problem in class. They might get it wrong at first, but when they are guided to understand their mistake, they become more equipped to solve future problems independently. This teaches resilience, the ability to bounce back from challenges with a positive mindset. When a child learns that mistakes are part of life, they won't be as fearful to try risk or to try new things or to make their own decision or to make their own choices. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the 10 podcasts where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. Today, we're focusing on the importance of teaching our children to make decisions, not just to follow direction and not just to be overly obedient. In this next segment, we're going to look at encouraging healthy disagreements and creativity in our children. It is okay for our children to respectfully say, "No, miss. I'd like to try it this way." "No, mom, I don't want to participate, but I don't mind looking." We should foster an environment where children can express their thoughts and explore different ideas. For example, imagine a classroom where a student suggested using a different approach to building a model during a science project. They give it a try, and maybe it doesn't work as planned. But the experience of trying something different will teach them critical thinking skills, which is important. By encouraging these healthy disagreements, we teach children that their voice matters and that their ideas are valuable, even if it's different from the norm. We must encourage decision making at home and in the classroom. Start small. Let's pick out the clothes, what clothes they want to wear, choose a book to read, or decide what's for dinner one night. Give them space to make mistakes and help them to reflect on what they learned from the experience. As educators, parents, carers, we must continue to remind our children that mistakes are not something to be fearful of, but something to embrace, as it's a part of life. It's a part of learning and growing. Parents, if your children doesn't want to participate in an activity, a bungee jumping activity, they can make the decision to say, "Mom, I will come to the bungee jumping family activity, but is it okay if I just take the pictures and I can stay on the side and have a look?" You don't have to force them to do something that's going to make them unhappy, something that's going to make them not confident, something that's going to make them anxious and nervous. It is okay for the child to make a decision that suits them rather than doing what you ask them to do and they have no interest in that activity or that task. It's an activity that you're interested in as a parent, and you want your child to be overly obedient and do as you say. This is not training them to be resilient adults. So when they grow up, they won't be able to make decisions on their own. They won't be able to make decisions without asking somebody else. They will make poor choices. They will succumb to peer pressure. They will follow what their friends ask them to do. As a child growing up, I couldn't dare make a decision. I couldn't dare say what clothes I want to wear. I couldn't tell the teacher in the classroom that I want to try it a different way. I couldn't do that. Even though I had dyslexia, I have dyslexia, and my brain is wired differently from general children, I wasn't able to make decision of trying something different because I had to follow what the teacher said. And as an adult, it affected me. I struggled to make decisions on my own. I would rely on others to contribute to how I think and what I'm thinking and what I'm going to do next. I had to undo this overly obedient behavior that I had inherited. And now I'm able to make decisions for myself, decision to start a business, decision on what I want to teach my children and how I want to teach my children, decisions on how I want the GP to support my child, decisions on how I want the pediatrician to support my child, rather than doing what they want to do for my child, because I know my child. So I will make the decision for myself, for that child, until my child is able to make decisions for themselves. So as an adult, I have overcome this, but it was a struggle for me. So parents, please ensure you're allowing your children the opportunity to make decisions, make choices, and not be overly obedient. Give them the space to make those decisions, give them opportunities to make those decisions and make choices, whether it's choice of what meals you eat tonight, what clothes to wear, where you guys are going. Let them be a part of those decisions so that they can grasp those skills from an early age. Because what you don't want is for them to go to school and somebody asks them to go and hit someone or hurt someone or call someone a name, and they don't have those decision skills to say no, or making choices to say, "No, I'm not doing that. That's wrong." Even though what they're being asked to do is making them uncomfortable, They don't know they shouldn't do it. They're going to follow what their friends have asked them to do because they're overly obedient. They follow what others want them to do. So parents, carers, and educators, I know you might not be happy with me. I'm not saying children should be disobedient and not listen to their parents and not follow rules and do the house chores. That's a different kettle of fish right there. We're talking about when the children are not interested in an activity and you're forcing them to do it, making them uncomfortable, making them upset, making them nervous, making them stress because it's something that you're interested in and because you're the parent, you believe they should do as you say. Thank you for tuning in to the 10 podcast where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. Remember, fostering independent decision makers today will help to raise confident, resilient adults tomorrow. Let's empower our children to think for themselves and not to be scared to make choices and decisions even when they make mistakes. Until next time, take care.
To make the most of today's episode, download additional resources or contact Justine at www.tenyourmind.com. That's TENyourmind.com. You can also visit www.coachjustine.com for more information.